When starting Maptitude, you are presented with a quick start. The quick start facilitates fast and easy map creation, as well as easy access of maps that have already been created. I'm going to use the quick start to open a map or workspace. I will then click OK and browse for the map I would like to open. After choosing the map and clicking Open, Maptitude opens up that map in my Maptitude window. So I have a map of a series of customers as well as a sales rep. And I'll begin by opening the routing toolbox, which is located at the top of the Maptitude screen with a vehicle and a little table. Maptitude reads the network associated with my map, displays a warning message, and then opens up that routing manager. If you do want to add points by clicking on the map, this can be done using the Click to Add a Stop button. You can move to any location on your map, click on the map, and those stops are added and also denoted with a stop number. And in my case, I'm going to choose 5 different stops on this map. The first stop will also be my last stop, so I'm going to find it in the list, right-click on it to expose the context-sensitive menu, and select Choose as In. When I do this, Maptitude asks me if I want the first stop to also be the last stop, which I do, so I will click Yes. And I can then get directions. Once I have these stops in my routing manager, I can rearrange them using the Move Up and Move Down buttons. So I can move a stop up so it's visited sooner, or a stop down so that it's visited later, and then get those directions again. So my route is changed. I can also completely reverse a route using the Reverse Stops tool in that routing manager in order to get those stops reversed completely. So that was all done using the ability to click on the map and click my own stops in. And the same approach of moving up and down and reversing will apply no matter how your stops are added. I want to clear these stops, and we'll do so using the Clear All Locations and Routes tool and confirming the message that is displayed. So this map also does include a couple of layers with locations. I have a sales rep and I have some clients. So I want to add stops based upon the data in this map. And I don't want to visit all of these clients at once. There are a number of clients in this particular layer. I only want to visit a few. So I'm going to begin by ensuring my clients layer is the working layer. I can see that it is because the name displays in bold. I will use the Select by Pointing tool to select the clients that I would like to visit on this particular day. I don't actually want to do that one. So I have selected 5 clients. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask Maptitude to use my layers rather than just clicks on the map. To do this, I'm going to use the Add Locations based on a selection set tool. Begin by choosing my sales rep layer and clicking OK. So This is displaying my sales rep's name and their hours, which I had, and a field called multiple fields. I'm going to click that same button again to add locations based on a layer, this time using clients. And those 5 clients I selected, I will use the client's name as the name of the stop and click OK. Maptitude then adds those customers to my route. So I have my 6 stops. I do want to add an additional stop, and I just want to type the address in this time. So I've gone to my routing and directions manager, that very first line, which said address, and I'm going to type in the address of another location. I don't have the city and state, but I do have the zip code, so I will type that zip code in and then click Add. Maptitude locates that point on the map and adds it to the routing manager, so it is in both locations. Now, I do want to return to my very first stop, so I'm going to right-click on that stop and choose as End, confirming again. So I have all my 8 stops in. I am now ready to get directions. And Maptitude generates those directions using the order of that they were loaded in to the dialog. I can see turn-by-turn directions from stop to stop by expanding the directions, clicking on the plus sign between each stop to see those turn-by-turn directions. And I can do that for as many stops as I would like. There's also a summary of the driving distance, trip duration, driving time, and the total cost. These values are based on the settings for the routing manager. So the driving speeds I all have set as average. And then I also have my start time and end time, as well as fuel costs and consumption. And those can be adjusted as desired. I also have the ability for Maptitude to optimize these stops for me, so it can determine the best order. My total driving distance at this point is 113 miles, just under 3 hours. I'm going to optimize this route to see if I can get a better route that will be more efficient. And so after clicking that, my route's only 71.6 miles, so I have reduced it significantly. And my time is just over 2 hours instead of almost 3 hours, which also reduced my cost. So that worked out very nicely. Sharing routes is easy in Maptitude. Simply clicking the Create Directions report, that's the PDF icon, will create a PDF version of those turn-by-turn directions. And so I can get my overview of my route is shown on the first page. Then I have my first stop with the turn-by-turn directions that goes through for all of the stops. And then finally, I get a route summary as the last page. So this is a nice way to share those directions. So these routes can be saved and loaded in Maptitude. To save a route, locate the vehicle with the floppy disk in that routing manager, which says Save Route when hovering over it. You can enter a route name and click Save. If you were to close this map altogether and come back to Maptitude, say on another day. So I've opened up a map. I can reopen up that routing manager. And to load those routes, I will simply click the vehicle with the folder, choose that root file, and Maptitude loads that in.